Welcome back, 6th grade. It's time to check our work from lesson 99. We started with number 5. Number 5 is a volume problem. They went over the volume of these stacked 1-foot boxes. So volume is length times width times height. So my length was 4 feet, my width was 3 feet, my height was 4 feet. I multiplied them together. I got 48 feet times feet times feet is feet cubed. Number 7. 1/5 of the pie was eaten, so that means 4/5 of the pie was left. They want to know what percent that is. So I said I'm going to change 4/5 to a percent, and I said this should be an equals. How do I get from 5 to 100? I multiply by 20, so if I do the same thing here, 4 times 20, 80% of the pie was left. Okay, number 8. Write the percent form of 1/7. 1/7. The first step is to multiply by 100%. I just put it over 1 since this is a fraction. I got 100% over 7. That means 100% divided by 7. Gave me 14. I got a remainder of 2. I put my remainder over my divisor. My final answer, 14 2/7%. Number 9, we had a mixed number minus a decimal number. They want us to give an answer as a decimal. So I changed 6 3/4. I made it into a fraction with a denominator of 100, 6 75 hundredths, so that I could write it 6 75 hundredths. If you didn't see to do it that way, you could have said 3 divided by 4, 3 divided by 4, and you would have gotten 0.75, okay? So 6.75 minus 6.2, and I added a 0, so I'd have the same amount of place values. 5 minus 0 is 5, 7 minus 2 is 5, decimal, 6 minus 6 is 0, so 0.55, 55 hundredths. Number 10. You might have just started multiplying all of this out and then finally got to the end and realized it was all multiplied times 0. But when I saw it, I saw a 0 at the end, and I said, well, it doesn't matter what the first numbers are. When I finally multiply by 0, the answer is going to be 0. Anything times 0 equals 0. Number 13. So my first step here was to do what's in parentheses. 2 plus 3 makes 5, so I rewrote everything. Then my next step was powers and roots. So square root 64 is 8, 5 squared is 25, square root of 25 is 5, and then I rewrote everything. Now I'm going to do the multiplication. That's next in our order of operations. 5 times 5 is 25. Now I can just add and subtract from left to right. 8 plus 25 is 33, minus 25 gives you a final answer of 8. Okay, number 14, proportion. 15 over 20 equals 24 over n. So I did n times 15 is going to be equal to 20 times 24, which is 480. I know a factor, I know the product. I can divide the product by the factor to get the missing factor. 480 divided by 15 gives me an answer of 32. Number 15. Got all these mixed numbers that are getting multiplied times each other. So I changed them all to improper fractions. So 25 over 2 times 8 over 5 times 5 over 1. My 5's canceled. 5 will go into 5 one time, 5 will go into 5 one time. 8 and 2 canceled. I reduced by 2's. 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 8 4 times. So I'm just left with 25 times 4 times 1, which is 100, over 1, which is a final answer of 100. Number 16. We had to do what's in parentheses first, so I did 4.2 times 0.05, and I got 0.210, 210 thousandths. So then I divide by 7. 210 thousandths divided by 7. 7 goes into 0, 0 times. 7 goes into 2, 0 times. 7 goes into 21, 3 times. 7 times 3 is 21. I do my subtracting, bring down the 0. My final answer, you get 30 thousandths, but I can get rid of that last 0. It's the extraneous 0. And my final answer is 3 hundredths. If you have 0.030, that is fine too. Just have that unnecessary 0 at the end. Number 22. We've got this triangle here. They want us to find the area of it. Okay, remember, area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. I cannot use this side as the height because the 8 centimeter side and the 10 centimeter side do not form a right angle. They had to actually drop a height to give us a height here, and they told us it was 5. 8 times 5 is 40, divided by 2 is 20 centimeters squared. And then it asks us, is this acute, right, or obtuse triangle? Okay, well this angle here is a little bit bigger than 90 degrees, so it makes it an obtuse triangle. Number 23. 23. We've got this quadrilateral, ABCD, and they give us some of the angle measures. They want us to find the angle B measure. Okay, so we learned that in a quadrilateral, the angles have to add up to 360 degrees. Okay, 110 and 90 add up to 200, plus 75 is 275, 360 minus 275 left me with 85 degrees. B says, what's the measure of the exterior angle, D? Hopefully you saw that this angle and this angle are supplementary. They have to add up to 180. 180 minus 110 leaves me with 70 degrees. Okay, here's our new stuff. So we had, on number 24, they gave us 6/10. Well, if I can say it as a decimal, I can write it as a fraction, 6/10. And then I reduced it. Your final answer on this part is 3/5. 6/10, if I want to change it to a percent, I can multiply by 100%, bump, bump, 60%. On 25, they gave us 15%. So if they give us the percent, I can divide by 100 to get to the decimal. Bump, bump, 0.15, 15 hundredths for the decimal. If I can say it as a decimal, I can write it as a fraction. 15 hundredths reduces it to 3/20. On the last one, they gave us 3/10. If I can say it as a fraction with a denominator of 10 or 100 or 1,000, I can write it as a decimal. 3/10, 0.3. If I can write it as a decimal, I can multiply by 100% to get to percent. Bump, bump, 30%. Make sure to email me if there are items on here that you don't understand after having checked them, okay? Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time.